Guys, welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. As always, I am joined by Josh. And as you can see, we've got a guest today, British lightweight Joe Kavanagh. Firstly, we've got to start off by congratulating you on your win at the weekend. And also, how are you?
Good. Thank you very much. Yeah, all good now. Now I'm 4-0.
Really? Yeah, exactly. Another win to the record.
No, definitely. We'll get straight into this, and sort of want to do it a little bit in a strange order, Joe. So just go with us on it. So obviously, you had a bit of an experience with the recent Boxer, the Super Lightweight series, didn't you? Obviously in Liverpool, that must have been a bit of a strange one for you. For those who don't know, if you are watching this, Joe was there as a reserve in case of a fighter dropout or any of the drama that we can get at these sort of tournament styles of boxing. So, I mean, how did you approach that, Joe? Was it sort of your usual prep in terms of fight week, or, you know, obviously we saw you weigh in, and just talk us through that whole experience, because it's got to be a bit bizarre, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was, to be honest. I was meant to be fighting on the Friday in the Olympia, on the 5th of November, but then we'd asked my manager for it, Steve Wood, if anyone drops out, I'm willing to step in and stuff like that. And so I got a call a couple of days before just saying, do you want to go on standby? So if anything happens, someone gets a cut or anything on the night, I can't go into the next round, then I'll be in. So yeah, jump right at it, to be honest. But yeah, it was good. It was a good experience, just with like the whole thing, really, just like being in the Echo and with it being on Sky and stuff like that. But it was good. It was a bit mad, the preparation and the build-up, to be honest.
Did you find you couldn't quite get like your regular prep in? Because obviously, I suppose it was, as you say, it was probably a bit more short notice than usual as well. You were. I guess you were planning to fight pretty soon anyway. But did you have to change your prep at all, or was it just carry on as you were?
I just carried on as we were, really, to be honest. But yeah, just made sure that we were just ready to go on the night mentally. It was more of a mental thing, trying to get prepared, if anything. I was in physical good shape anyway, but mentally I was like, I didn't know whether like to get me hyped up for a fight or not, or
I bet.
It was just mad. Yeah,
I was going to say, I mean, we saw you on the broadcast sort of like, all ready to go. And at what point did you sort of think, this isn't going to happen? Because obviously, like you just say, someone gets a cut and can't go through to the next round. I suppose,
well, to be honest, it was crazy because my mate actually was fighting in one of my good gym mates, Tom Farrell. He got to the final, and I knew Tom for years, but he got a heavy cut in the semis. Got a heavy cut on the eyebrow, which means and he was going into the finals. So two officials have ran in my dressing room going, Kavanagh, get your kit on, get ready. Farrell might not be able to fight. He's got to see the doctor now. So I've jumped up now, throwing my trackie off, put me shorts, my boots on, thinking I could be in the final, a straight fight. But lucky enough for Fajan, I made up because Tom's my good old mate and he worked hard that night and had some tough fights. So I made up. He got a chance to get to the final himself, do you know what I mean? So, but he ended up just coming in, just saying, no, the doctor's passed Fajan, so it's off. Do you know what I mean? Only the final, so we just kind of switched off then. But like I said, made up for Fajan though. Made up. He deserved to be in the final. To be honest, I thought he could have won it if anything, and it was a close fight, really.
It was. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you speak about the mental battle more than anything. You can see why. Like 1 minute, because I guess people wouldn't have realised that you could have been thrown in at any point, including suddenly just thrown straight into the final, and especially if the boxers by then they've got obviously a few bouts and a few rounds already going into it. It must have been, that would have been a pretty mental thing if you suddenly had to just step straight into that final.
Yeah, it would have been crazy, one of it. It would have been absolutely madness. I'd have got a lot of critics saying if I won or anything, saying he didn't fight all the way through, he just started him with the final. Imagine that. But like I say, do you know what I mean? It was I'm made up for all the lads that, you know,
Yeah.
it weren't my time. I was only there on standby. My time would come when it's ready. So I was buzzing for Fasher to get to the final, really. He done himself proud and done the city proud.
No, he did do well. Like I said, I thought it was very close to the final. I mean, that sort of tournament style, obviously we saw it in a fashion reasonably similar a few years ago with Prize Fighter. I mean, I'm quite glad sort of Boxer are bringing this back, and obviously it's got the good platform now with Sky. Obviously, you experienced it all without actually fighting. Would you look at it in the future? Like, would you get involved with it if they come around again?
Yeah, well, to be honest, my manager said, you know, he'd like me in the next one. So, you know, it's looking more likely that I'll be in the next one of them around next year. So
you'd imagine so, especially after being like the stand-in. You'd think that, you know, surely your time will come next time round. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and especially after getting the, you know, another win to your name on the weekend too.
Yeah, that's it. Like all the lads who were in it were like 20-odd fights, even more. Some of them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had 3 at the time. You know what I mean? I'm a raw novice, to be honest, in the pro game anyway. But you know, like I say, my time will come. You know, and I'll be ready when it comes. So.
No, I mean, that's all you can really do, isn't it? Just make sure you're ready for it. So, I mean, you know, as we said at the start, you fought this past Friday. So thank you for coming on so quickly to have a chat with us. You got the win. Congratulations on that. Moved to 4-0. I mean, do you want to tell us a little bit about this fight and, you know, sort of talk us through it?
Another crazy week mentally with it because I had no opponent. Opponent or nothing. And I'm actually a super featherweight. I'm not a super lightweight. Like, even in the boxer series, you know, I stepped up to the super lightweight because it was a good opportunity. You know what I mean? It'd be stupid not to, really. But this fight that I've had was another mad one, to be honest, because I had no opponent. Then the Wednesday it was. Yeah. Oh no, the Thursday on the day the weigh-ins, the day before the fight, it was called off. It ended up getting called off at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Then 12 o'clock or something like that. Then 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he's ended up finding me an opponent. It was super lightweight. So I've ended up, which is heavier than me, really. So, and he was a good kid, to be honest. He'd had like 21, 11 and knock 9 out.
Yes,
so he was actually a good step up for me, really, at the time. But yeah, he was a dangerous fighter, really. He had power, but he just got in there and done what needed to be done.
I mean, it's an interesting one to ask now because obviously, you know, you got the points win, and of course, you know, I guess everything went right. But if you knew the opponent earlier, would you have adapted anything about your training for that opponent, or, you know, was it a case of I guess you just have your way of training, and you know, whoever would have come up would have been fine.
Well, to be honest, I train to fight anyone on the planet. Although tactics and game plans, they're not really needed in 4-rounders as yet. Maybe when you look on 10, 12 rounders, bigger fights, then you can start looking at the tactics. But with 4-rounders, I just get in there, figure them out, and do what needs to be done.
There's no time to waste. There's not really
much time to waste. Really. So it was actually meant to be a 6-round fight, but then ended up getting me to a 4-round. So
no, it's good. I mean, so in your pro career now, sort of as you're saying, you know, you're mixing it with your fight on Friday with, you know, people much more experienced in the pro game than yourself, and obviously you hadn't fought in a couple of years with previously to Friday. Now, how's that sort of layoff affected you? Is it all due to the pandemic? Obviously, you know, with different guests we have on, they've sort of all had different experiences of, you know, of the pandemic, and sort of some people it's, you know, sort of killed their career temporarily. Other people it's obviously benefited them hugely. How did you cope with all that? Because, like, I suppose it goes back to a little bit what you're saying. It's as much of a mental battle as a physical one.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. I've been in the gym for a bit, really, now, so I would say I've done sparring plenty of rounds, done enough rounds now to kind of get that rust off, really. it's just, yeah, I've been in the gym a long time since COVID, back sparring regularly and all that now, so I was prepared anyway in a sense, but it was it's just been a long camp because I was meant to fight on the 24th of September. Then that got called off, so I was meant to fight on the something like the 5th of November. Then obviously I never, because I was going on the boxer series on the day after.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't end up fighting then. So I ended up fighting 2 weeks later now. So it feels like it's been forever. I'm just waiting to have a fight, but I'm glad to just get back in there and get the rust off, get the ball rolling again.
Yeah, and I suppose some of the boxers we spoke to, they actually debated over COVID times whether they'd actually ever enter into the ring again. Was it more just for yourself, thinking about the fact of, you knew you were going to step back in, it was just going to be when the time came?
Yeah, definitely. Still got a lot of things to do, really. I've done absolutely nothing as a professional yet, so got to get some belts now.
But the main thing is you haven't lost yet.
I've still got the O.
Exactly.
I was going to say, you've done a very good start, isn't it? I mean, so what's next for you now? I suppose is it activity? Get back out again soon, or what's the aspirations?
Fingers crossed, I can have another one, before Christmas, but I doubt it really at the minute. Be nice to, but there's a lot of other shows and a lot of other fighters that have already been. But just I'm gonna stay in the gym, taking over, see what happens. Then have a nice Christmas. Then next year probably have a 6-rounder early on. This will be that'll be my last 4-rounder. So step up to 6 rounds, then start looking at area title shots and so on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe start eyeing up that boxer series, which I suppose you could maybe get in 1 or 2 fights before that if you were to get the nod next year.
Yeah, definitely. Just give me a bit more experience, won't it?
Yeah, definitely.
No, definitely. I mean, something we're quite sort of interested in as a channel. Obviously, I know you've been up at sort of super lightweight recently, but obviously you said you're a super featherweight. How do you find the whole making weight process? I mean, again, sort of you hear mixed reports, don't you? How do you go about doing that? Are you sort of quite lucky and it sort of comes relatively natural, or do you have to work hard at it?
No, I don't really go too far away from the actual fighting weight, even just walking around. I'll put a couple of key on, but nothing drastic, like where it's going to be a big struggle to get back off if something does pop up or stuff like that. But to be honest, been quite fortunate with the last 2 things scheduled at super lightweight, so I've kind of just been eating bigger portions, not necessarily crap food, but just bigger and more, so being a lot happier.
Never a bad thing.
I've been a lot happier, less grumpy around the house and that anyway, so that cutting weight, mate, don't want to be around me when I've got to cut weight.
Do you have to worry about the water intake as well, like, to make the weight before, when it comes to weighing, or is that not so much of a factor, or?
Yeah, of course, we can't just time it well, though. So, like, wouldn't drink loads of water on the day of the weigh-in or stuff, so I'm not feeling bloated or whatever, but in camp, I just drink water, really. I like a little green tea, but I don't like it, really. Yeah, but I've got it after, it helps, it helps me. But I just drink water, really, trying to cut my liquids out at about 9-10 o'clock at night.
I've done the same with green teas before, to be honest. I've given it a go because it's supposed to be good for you, but it's not that nice tasting, is it?
No, try and get all the flavoured ones and all that.
I've done the same.
See, I mean, clearly not for making weight purposes, but I actually don't mind green tea, to be honest. So it's one of those, the missus got me into it a few years ago. I don't mind it at all.
Well, the missus keeps me eating half healthy, to be honest. Otherwise, I think I'd be a couple of key heavier.
There you go. I mean, so, just lastly here, Joe, we'd love to hear sort of, you know, what got you into boxing and sort of how old were you? And just tell us a little bit about how this whole process got started.
Young kid, bored, nothing to do. Nothing else to do. But my dad always took me to football. I like football. I still play it now, like, but I've just loved boxing since I was 10 years old. My dad doesn't know where it come from because none of my dad or my granddads were boxers. He just took me to the gym and I just loved it ever since. So kind of just came to, like, just came naturally, really. And it was just, give me something to do. I love a good fight when I was a kid as well. So kind of kept me fighting for a good reason.
Yeah. I was usually the one running away from them.
Yeah.
I weren't very good at football and weren't very good at boxing or kickboxing either. So I was the opposite to you.
Right. So, I mean, that's it. That's it from me, Joe. Thanks ever so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And obviously, you know, best of luck sort of in the future. We'll be keeping an eye on you. Everybody Joe's on Twitter, very active. So check out his profile and, you know, let's all get behind him. It's great to see people doing well. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Ta, fellas.
Yeah, cheers.
See you later. Bye-bye.